And tonight we are only 10 short days away from what is known as the sequester, $85 billion in automatic budget cuts that will, among other things, dramatically impact the Department of Defense. And with the March 1st deadline fast approaching, the President of the United States, he decided to step off the golf course earlier today and address this dire situation.
These cuts are not smart, they are not fair, they will hurt our economy, they will add hundreds of thousands of Americans to the unemployment rolls. This is not an abstraction. People will lose their jobs.
All right, the cuts are not smart, they're not fair, they're going to hurt the economy. But what the president didn't mention, that the sequester, that was his idea in the first place.
Bob, as the man who literally wrote the book about the budget battle, put this to rest. Whose idea was the sequester, and did you ever think that we'd actually get to this point?
First of all, it was the White House. It was Obama and Jack Lew and Rob Neighbors who went to the Democratic leader in the Senate, Harry Reid, and said, this is the solution.
There you have it. The plan the president is now calling, quote, not smart, not fair, was actually his solution to, quote, saving the economy. But again, that's not what we heard today at the White House. Instead, what we heard was our commander, campaigner-in-chief, reverting back into election mode, of course, blaming Republicans, using pathetic scare tactics to smear the opposition. Sound familiar? Now, you've already heard a sample of that fear-mongering, but what I'm about to play for you can only be described as Obama's Mayan apocalypse. It's a chilling presidential prophecy that will have you questioning whether or not the sun will even rise next Friday if, in fact, the sequester takes hold. Here's more of the president's dire warning, fear-mongering from earlier today. And let's just say that we sanitize his comments a little bit. Let's take a look.
Now, if Congress allows this meat cleaver approach to take place, it will jeopardize our military readiness.
What kind of training, son? Army training, sir!
It will eviscerate job-creating investments in education.
Yeah, I'm registered in this class.
What class?
This is U.S. history. See the globe right there.
Emergency responders, their ability to help communities respond to and recover from disasters will be degraded. Border Patrol agents will see their hours reduced. FBI agents will be furloughed.
You were with the old Bureau 7 years, and that Bureau is now gone, sir. And so are you.
Federal prosecutors will have to close cases and let criminals go.
This place is getting as bad as home. Well, just as well go home and sleep.
Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Tens of thousands of parents will have to scramble to find childcare for their kids. Hundreds of thousands of Americans will lose access to primary care and preventive care. That's why Democrats, Republicans, business leaders, and economists, they've already said that these cuts, known here in Washington as sequestration, are a bad idea.
The end of the world as we know it. Here to try and defend his old boss, former chair of the President's Council of Economic Advisors, professor at the University of Chicago of Business, Austin Goolsbee, along with Fox News contributor Tucker Carlson. Austin, let's go to the videotape. This was back in 2011, and this was Obama's idea. Let's listen to your old boss.
Already, some in Congress are trying to undo these automatic spending cuts. My message to them is simple. No. I will veto any effort to get rid of those automatic spending cuts to domestic and defense spending. There will be no easy off-ramps on this one.
Whoops. So I guess he's the one that's not fair, not smart, and he's the one that's hurting the economy because it was his idea.
No, now, first of all, Sean, you better hope all those movies were Fox, 20th Century Fox movies, or you're going to be in major violation of copyright law.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Recall
I know you're looking out for
that
me.
The context of the quote that you just played from 2011 was that Republicans in Congress were trying to revisit the sequester and make it only on the discretionary part and go take out the defense part.
It was his idea, the sequester. It was his brilliant idea. He brought it to Harry Reid.
If you remember, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why did he go to Harry Reid? Why did he go?
Because he wanted it.
Anybody who watches this show knows that I tried to bet you for the election that the loser would shave their head, and you wouldn't do it. But
not stupid.
If you had agreed
I knew it was going to be close. I predicted on this program it would be close. I said razor-thin margin.
No, okay, fine.
I've got the
videotape.
videotape.
Say I had lost the bet. Say I had lost the bet and I shaved my head. That doesn't mean that, that the fact that I proposed the bet doesn't mean I want to shave my head.
This was
supposed to motivate
This was the president's
grand bargain.
idea. Bob Woodward said it too. Now let me go to Tucker Carlson. Tucker, I think we've just got to throw in the towel. Let me go to the president, all the scare tactics. If you're a conservative in this country, you want to poison the air and water.
Right.
You don't care about children with autism, Down syndrome. You don't care about the elderly. We've got a fear-mongering demagogue in the White House that doesn't like us and thinks we're evil. Watch, for example.
I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Michelle wasn't. But somebody gave us a chance. Just like these folks up here are looking for a chance. This congressional Republican budget is something different altogether. It is a Trojan horse. It is thinly veiled social Darwinism. My plan says we're going to put teachers back in the classroom, construction workers back to work rebuilding America. And then you got their plan, which is let's have dirtier air, dirtier water. Who are these 50 million Americans? Many are somebody's grandparents. Some are middle-class families who have children with autism or Down syndrome. These are the Americans we'd be telling to fend for themselves.
Obama, president demagogue. What else can you say, Tucker? It's actually funny at this point.
Well, it's remarkable. I covered him in his 2008 campaign, and I remember that one of his big applause lines was, "I'll never try and give you candy. I'll never try to pretend these are easy choices. I'll tell you the truth, even if you don't like it." And how far we have come from there to this point where, as he said today, Republicans would like nothing more than just to hurt first responders for the sake of doing so in order to help their friends in the financial services business. He actually, with a straight face, said this is a clear choice between making the rich pay more or hurting the rest of us, as if you could balance the budget on the backs of the rich. That's just a lie. As a math question, that's a lie, and he knows it's a lie, and he says it anyway. I think that's pretty low, and it's, by the way, it's a change. He didn't used to talk this way. In his first campaign, he didn't. People voted for him thinking that he was a uniter, and he has ceased trying. This is not a partisan point. Watch the tape.
You know, Austin, if I'm going to use the president's standard, let's play a little word association game here. If he's going to say conservatives want dirty air and water and throw Granny over the cliff and kids with autism,
say that they wanted dirty air and dirty
plan.
water.
I'll play it again. Their plan. Wait a minute.
Then
they have their
he
plan.
Said they
let's
want
have
dirty air and dirty water. That's not what he said.
Let me read it to you. Then you have their plan, which says let's have dirty air and dirty water. Those are his words.
No,
I just played it for you.
Their plan gives you dirtier air and dirtier water.
Let me make
That's just a budget matter.
That's not what he said. You're adding a whole bunch of words that he didn't use.
The math on it.
All right, here's my idea. I got a good idea. If he uses those standards that we want to throw Granny over the cliff, don't kids with autism and Down syndrome. We just played it. All right, now, wait a minute. Then I'm going to call the president using his same tactics. I think the president's a thief. I think he's stealing. When we borrow 46 cents of every dollar, he's stealing from our kids. Now, if I said that, would I be over the top? Would I be a demagogue?
You have said that. You have said that many times, and you've said it to me. And yes,
I think he's stealing from our kids.
You were a demagogue.
Tucker, is he stealing from our children?
Here's
He's
what I'm saying.
Breaking open their piggy banks and taking their pennies because you were borrowing 46 cents of every dollar.
If you're concerned about the deficit, then let's come up with a reasonable plan that has some revenues, that has some entitlement cuts, that has some discretionary cuts.
Republicans passed two plans.
All right, well, here's one. He never proposed doing it only with high-income revenue. He absolutely did not. And he's not
Austin,
this time.
did you listen to what he said today? It's just not serious. For example, he said if the sequestration goes through, we'll have to cut Head Start. Now, we have had Head Start for 48 years. We know an awful lot about how effective it is, and the evidence is in. It doesn't work. It produces no measurable change in the education levels of kids. If you can't cut Head Start, you're not serious about cutting anything.
All right, guys.
Period.
Hold it right there. We got to take a break. We're going to come back more with former Obama economic advisor who's adding words to what Obama says, Austin Goolsbee. And
I didn't.
Tucker, you did so. You added words. And Tucker Carlson. And then we'll debate if the president is stealing money from children when we come back. And then.